Here are the cards featured within Yu-Gi-Oh! Go Rush episode 118. Dark Matter Maiden is a level 3 Dark Attribute Galaxy effect monster with 100 attack and 1300 defense. Requirement: during the turn, this card is normal summoned if there are no other monsters on your field. As an effect, send the top 2 cards of your deck to the graveyard, then you can change this card to face down defense position. The archetype works alongside having certain cards that are face down and then trigger off effects of your face up monsters for various things from boosting types of attacks, to attacking multiple times, to inflicting certain points of damage. Dark Matter Rogue Lancer is a level 7 Dark Attribute Galaxy effect monster with 2500 attack and 1300 defense. The requirement: if there is a face down defense position monster on your field, send one card from your hand to the graveyard. And the effect: change the battle position of one monster on your opponent's field, then that monster loses 1000 attack and defense, then choose up to 2 face up monsters on your field. During this turn, those monsters' attacks pierce. This is meant to be like a mini boss monster for the archetype. It has 2500 attack points for a level 7 its spine, and its only requirement is, provided you have a face-down defense position monster on your field, just by sending a card from their hand to the graveyard, you're able to adjust the battle position of one monster on your opponent's field. That monster then loses 1000 attack and defense, making it much weaker and more susceptible to other monsters attacking, and then you can choose up to 2 face-up monsters on your field, and those monsters can then do piercing battle damage. So, for example, if you have your face-down monster, you have this face-up, and you have another face-up monster, and your opponent has 2 defense position monsters, one through this card's effect, and the second just because it's in defense position, you can still do a decent amount of damage to the opponent. Dark Matter Rampart is a normal trap card. The requirement: when your opponent adds a card from their graveyard or deck to their hand, the effect is to change all attack position monsters on the field to face-up defense position. Then you can have all face-up defense position on your field gain 400 defense until the end of the turn. If there's a face-down monster on your field, then you can randomly choose one card in your opponent's hand and send it to the graveyard. This card enables you to activate it when the opponent adds a card either from their graveyard or deck to the hand. You'll be doing that a lot, and so will your opponent, so it's not too difficult to activate the effect. You change all attack position monsters on the field to face-up defense position, so that's fine. And you can have all face-up defense position monsters on your field gain 400 defense points, so it does provide you with a little bit additional protection. Provided there is a face-down monster on your field, you're then able to choose a card in the opponent's hand and send it to the graveyard. Therefore, ironically, you might be able to get rid of the card that they searched for. Even if not, you might get rid of one of their key cards. Transamu Assault Rainak is a level 7 Light Attribute Galaxy Fusion effect monster with 2600 attack and 1600 defense. The materials are a Transamu Rainak and a Light Attribute Galaxy effect monster. The requirement is to shuffle 2 monsters from your graveyard into your deck, and the effect is: during this turn, this card level is reduced by 3. If you return Transamu Reika for this effect's requirement, then during this turn, this card's attack pierce. If you pierce, that battle damage is increased by how much that attack is greater than that defense. This requirement does need one specifically named monster plus any Light Attribute Galaxy effect monster, so you'll be running multiple of those cards. The requirement is just shuffling 2 monsters from the graveyard back into the deck, so that's easy enough. And the effect lets you reduce this card's level by 3, so it becomes a level 4 monster. If you return that specific card, the Transamu Reika, for this effect's requirement, then during this turn, you basically are able to do piercing battle damage, so that's actually quite decent. And it also gets kind of a little bit of a boost for attack. Galactica Super Novelty is a normal spell card. The requirement is: if there is a face-up level 7 or higher monster on your opponent's field, and the number of face-up galaxy monsters on your field and monsters on your opponent's field are the same. The effect is: draw cards equal to the number of monsters in defense position on your opponent's field, but during this turn, monsters you control cannot attack except one galaxy monster. With the requirement, it does need a level 7 or higher monster that your opponent possesses, and you need to have an equivalent number of face-up galaxy monsters on your field and monsters on your opponent's field being the same, so it can only work in quite specific environments. It's not so bad as with the usual Yu-Gi-Oh! Original series, as that has 5 card zones, whereas this pretty much has 3 monster zones. The effect allows you to draw cards equal to the number of monsters in defense position that your opponent possesses. So you're going to need to at least have 1 on your opponent's Maximum opportunity is to draw 3 cards, but this does prevent you from attacking with all your monsters, with the exception of allowing one of your Galaxy monsters to attack. Vapor Blind is a normal trap card. The requirement is when your opponent's monster declares an attack, the effect is to choose up to 3 normal monsters in attack position on your field and change them to face-up defense position. Then all attack position monsters on your opponent's field lose 200 attack times the number of monsters on your opponent's field. The requirement just needs your opponent to declare an attack with one of their monsters. The effect lets you take up to 3 of your normal monsters that happen to be in attack position. They have to go to face-up defense position, and all attack position monsters on the opponent's field lose 200 attack times the number of monsters on your opponent's field. So at maximum, you're looking at 600 points difference in losing on those stats. It's fine, but it's not significant enough to probably protect your monsters. In terms of the various cards here, the Fusion I think is quite interesting because of, its ability to kind of shuffle cards back into the deck as part of the requirement. I believe this Dark Matter Rampart is also a decent card as it provides a little bit of protection, as well as removing a card from your opponent's hand to the graveyard. But overall, nothing is that impressive. I'd love to know what you guys think of these cards. Put those in the comments down below. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and make sure to subscribe for more videos.